Father, we thank you for this day and all the blessings of your creation. We pray for those who were involved in a serious traffic accident this afternoon here in Spotsylvania and for their families. And we pray that you be with us and guide us this evening. In your name we pray. Amen.
Good evening, Mr. Chair. The first item on the order of business this evening is the approval of the agenda, including any possible agenda additions. There are no additions this evening, so it's as published.
Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion to approve.
If there's no discussion, we can vote.
Four yes, with Mr. McLaughlin, Mr. Ross, and Mr. Skinner absent.
The next item on the agenda is the presentation of the consent agenda. If I could have the floor computer, please. The first item on the consent agenda this evening is the approval of the March 12th, 19th, and 26th, 2019 board meeting minutes. Items number 2 is the approval of the award of contracts to 9 vendors for various water treatment chemicals. Item 3 is to approve the contract to Boundtree Medical for purchase of ALS vent packs and IV pumps at a cost of $120,248.42. Item 4 is to approve the contract to Cintas Corporation for utilities, public works uniform rental, and facility supplies. This is a contract that expires in 2023 with 1-year renewals. The estimated cost for the first year is $113,835.80. Item 5 is to approve the resolution for Teacher Appreciation Week, which is May 5th through the 11th, 2019. Item 6 is to approve 2 task-based contracts to provide geotechnical engineering services. Item 7 is to approve the technical correction to the FY20 budget resolution. This is to correct a clerical error in the resolution. Item 8 is to authorize the licensing agreement to allow a book drop box for the Central Rappahannock Regional Library at the Spotsylvania Town Center branch. And that is your consent agenda for the evening.
And do we have a public comment period first?
We do.
Is there anybody present who wishes to comment on any items on the consent agenda? Seeing none, we'll close the first public comment period. Does any supervisor wish to pull anything from the consent agenda? Not, is there? Mr. Benton and Mr. Marshall have their statements to read.
I hereby disclose I have an interest in the budget transaction as a retired employee of the county. My disclosure is on file with the clerk and is available to the public for review. Mark, Ed, Amy, please record this disclosure in the minutes of this meeting as required by law.
I hereby disclose I have an interest in the budget transaction as an employee of the county. My disclosure is on file with the clerk and is available to the public for review. Ed and Amy, please record this disclosure in the minutes of this meeting as required by law.
Is there a motion to approve the consent agenda?
So moved.
We can vote.
Mr. Chairman, can we
Marshall?
read the resolution for the teacher appreciation after we vote on this item? Thank you.
Four yes.
Who would like to read the resolution?
I have it in front of me, Dr. Trampy, if
Thank
you're good with that. This is a resolution for Teacher Appreciation Week, which is May 5th through the 11th, 2019. Whereas education is a grand and powerful profession worthy to be honored and respected And whereas excellence in education begins in the classroom of our nation's schools, and teachers are among the professional educators who are charged with the responsibility of helping to shape the destiny of our country by training and guiding our children, youth, and adults. And whereas teachers are and will continue to be a dynamic force in the educational process, they have demonstrated through their sense of purpose and dedication to their profession that they are a major source of inspiration to our students. And whereas the teachers in Spotsylvania County have consistently documented their professional competence and commitment to students through their willingness to give of their time, energy, talents, and ideas, they are to be praised for the progress that the students are making. And whereas our teachers should be deeply respected and highly recognized for the contributions they have made to our county, our state, and our nation. And whereas the National Parent-Teacher Association has declared May 5th through 11th, 2019 as Teacher Appreciation Week, and whereas the goal of Teacher Appreciation Week is to raise national and local awareness of teaching excellence in building a better society. Now therefore be it resolved that the Spotsylvania County Board of Supervisors declares May 5th through 11th, 2019 as Teacher Appreciation Week and urges all schools, centers, departments, parents, businesses, governmental and community agencies, and the entire community to participate in the celebration of the significant role teachers play in shaping the lives of our students and the future of our great nation.
We already approved the motion, so I guess we're up to public presentations again.
There are no citizens signed up to speak.
Is there anyone who did not sign up for public presentations who wishes to speak? If not, we can close public presentations.
The next item on the agenda is the presentation of reports by others. We have with us this evening from the Central Rappahannock Regional Library, we have Ms. Hutzel and Ms. Purdy here to give a presentation, their annual report to the board on the regional library.
I should have already done that. Good evening, Chairman Trampy, members of the board, county staff, and guests. I am Martha Hutzel, the Regional Library Director, and this is Rebecca Purdy, our Deputy Director. We'd like to take a few minutes this evening to tell you the latest news from the library.
Can we have the floor computer, please?
We use a slightly different system.
There you go.
at the library. Thank you very much. Obviously, literacy and education are two of the main things that we focus on. Out here in Spotsylvania County, we have Pause for Reading, which is reading to specially trained therapy dogs, an optimal reading experience because children can practice reading in a non-judgmental environment. That particular picture you see is the Spotsylvania Town Center. That is not Pause for Reading, but it is a story time, and the kids and parents are having some fun there. We do participate in Read Across America, where hundreds of children come to our branches. And we have 12 Grow a Reader, which we used to call story time, early literacy classes. And there are 36 classes system-wide, so anyone in the community can go to any branch that's convenient for them. We participate in something called Cafe Book. We had 160 students in 6 Spotsylvania middle schools. It's a school lunchtime book discussion program teaching teens critical evaluation skills. So they go during their lunchtime, they go to the library, they pack their lunch, and they discuss the books that they've chosen to read. Continuing literacy and education, we have a program called Classroom Carryout where teachers can make a special request in advance to us and we pull special books together for them. 926 requests with over 14,000 classroom instruction materials we provided for them. Then they're in a hurry, they can just come in and grab a whole bag of books, all on the same topic that they happen to be covering. We believe that summer reading isn't just for fun. Studies have shown that students who join their library summer reading programs return to school better prepared to learn than those who don't participate. We are a busy, active library system. 8,200 people of all ages signed up for summer reading in 2018. We loaned over 1.4 million, items in Spotsylvania County alone, with 14,000 new borrowers. One of the wonderful things about the Town Center branch is that we have issued almost 500 new library cards just from that branch since it opened last August. Digital access is something that we focus on very heavily. When you hear the report from the Census Bureau, you will probably find out that public libraries across America will be participating very heavily in the U.S. Census this year because it will be online, and we will provide the computers for those who do not have them. As you can see, ebooks are very popular in our library system, 110,000, almost 111,000, and 81,000 e-audiobooks. We have a lot of computer users, website visitors, and e-materials users. The e-materials is the fastest area of growth for us, and we are putting more of our funds into purchasing e-materials. We do participate in workforce development in this community. Users logged 7,271 learning sessions through a system we have called lynda.com. It is an online training database that we subscribe to, and anyone with a library card can use it for free from any computer. We support the schools and students through books, workshops, and test proctoring. We do offer test proctoring for anyone who needs to take an online or printed test, and we do charge for that, of course. And we have done over 1,000 tests in the last fiscal year. We offer something called Training on Demand. Anybody who wants to learn anything about a device they own, a digital application, a computer, a laptop, an iPad, or anything else, they can just come in and we will show them how to use that for free. We believe in lifelong learning. Almost 6,700 people in this community participated in 410 different sessions in our Maker Labs. We have pop-up Maker Labs at every location, and we are hoping to have a dedicated Maker Lab at some point where we can leave our materials up all the time. Whether those are 3D printers, sewing machines, or drawing tablets, we are teaching people how to use that new technology. The blue and yellow badges that you see in the right-hand corner, we design those and then create them, and anyone who gets badged on using our equipment can then use it on their own, and we give them one of those badges that we create there on the 3D printer. So those are created on the 3D printers. They can then schedule the equipment to use on their own. We have an annual writers conference, which has become so popular that we will begin holding it at the UMW Stafford campus. We had 140 local authors, and then all of the other folks who participated who aren't authors yet, but maybe are author wannabes, and the rooms become too crowded at our branches, so we've moved that to UMW. We want every kindergartner to have a library card. With that in mind, we issued 892 new library cards through our kindergarten library card campaign, which we do through the schools. We send a form home with the children. It comes back to us. We issue the card. We deliver them to the schools, and then they're sent home with the children. Actually, they're mailed to the children. Excuse me, they're now mailed to the children. Early literacy is extremely important to us and to every family in this community and every school in this community. 4,742 children attended some of our classes that we offer for children. We almost always call them story times. We've just changed their names. So we have preschools, child care facilities, and Head Start programs that we now visit with our Library on the Go vehicle. When I became a librarian, I did not think I would be giving meals to children in the library, but we have been doing that for years, and so have many public libraries across the country. Children need food all year long, not just when they're in school receiving the meals that they might get because they qualify for them. If they're hungry, they cannot learn. At Salem Church, we have community gardens where we donate the produce to the food bank. Last year, we donated 257 pounds of fresh produce. And we participate with the Fredericksburg Regional Food Bank, and we serve meals at our Salem Church branch in Spotsylvania County. We are out in the community a great deal. Community engagement is a large part of what we do to serve local residents. We visit dozens of assisted living and senior care centers and bring books, laptops, and movies to local residents. This is one of our staff, the young woman, and she is at one of the local assisted living facilities delivering books to the residents who wish to have them. We are continuing our longstanding agreement with the Library of Congress to deliver talking books to visually impaired residents, and those are mailed to their homes. We have been hosting community engagement conversations on everything from the opioid crisis to citizen involvement to registering to vote and other areas of public participation in the community. We partner with AARP and United Way to offer free tax preparation and filing clinics. 2,452 tax returns filed, returning over $2.9 million in the community this year, and no one pays for those services, of course. We partner with AARP and United Way, so they come in and do that for citizens. We apply for grants as much as we possibly can. We received a large grant from the National Endowment for the Arts, $18,000. They call it a Big Read Grant, where we bring in a major author who we could not normally afford, and everyone reads the same book, or we encourage everyone to read the same book. This year, it is a Vietnam War novel called The Things They Carried. That author will be at UMW this Saturday at 3 o'clock at Dodd Auditorium. Again, we don't have a room big enough for a big-name author, so we'll be using their space. Some of the recent initiatives: the Spotsylvania Town Center opened last August. We started offering special, we call it Creative Minds classes for children on the autism spectrum. We have a lot of new Maker Lab equipment, and we launched a new website. The Spotsylvania Town Center recently won an award from the Virginia Public Library Directors Association, what they call the Better Together Award, which is an award for local partnerships between Spotsylvania County, the Regional Library, and the Cafaro companies who own them all. We've included some comments from our customers. I'm not going to read them all to you word for word. This is from a Salem Church customer. Residents really do love and depend on the library, and we are very happy and thankful that they use the library so heavily. The next screen has two from our customers, one from the Snow Branch, actually both from the Snow Branch. Our Snow Branch manager is a technical wizard and helps anybody with anything that they need as far as their technology that they bring in. The last comment is one from a Spotsylvania Town Center customer, thanking our staff and saying their library really does open a door to me other than just shopping, so they can come to the mall, they can shop, they can eat, they can spend money, and they can go to the library as well. We want to thank you for the work you have done at the Salem Church branch this year. There's some new flooring in the teen computer and lobby cafe areas, a lot of new LED lighting, which does save quite a bit of money and electricity for you, I'm sure. New ceiling work was done, and some repairs to curbs and sidewalks. Work at the town center, of course, and the Snow Branch with some new blinds and carpeting. Thank you very much for your support of the regional library system, and thank you for approving our budget request for FY20 this year.
Anyone have any comments or questions? Mr. Skinner?
Just quick, when you talk about you're holding it at Mary Washington University, where?
At Dodd Auditorium, excuse me, thank you for asking that. At Dodd Auditorium in GW Hall.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. He will be available to sign books, and books will be available for purchase from the UMW bookstore.
Is there anything else? Mr. Yakubowski?
Yes. Thank you for coming this evening, and just want to let everybody know that we have been working on a Massaponax church, or I'm sorry, a Massaponax area branch. And so there have been some positive movements forward, but I think that we want to make sure that we get it right once we do it, so that it'll be a great asset for the area. So, but thank you. You've done an awful lot of work on that, and we've actually had some meetings about it. So it's moving along.
It is.
So,
Thank you very much for your support on that.
Yes, ma'am.
If there's nothing else, thank you.
Welcome. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, our next presentation is by Dr. George Millsaps. He is with the United States Census Bureau, and he is a partnership specialist. He's here to speak about the 2020 census.
Again, how you do this. Might need help.
How did you guys do that?
Different system. Oh, there we go. That one to it. Got it. Yay.
Can I have the floor computer, please?
Good evening. Thank you for having me here today to talk a little about the census. Why do we do it? Because it's mandated by the Constitution. We're going to count everybody living in the United States every 10 years. And so we're going to do that. It is used to apportion seats for the House of Representatives on the federal level. It's used on the state level for redistricting. And one of the big things, it's used to distribute over $675 billion of federal funds each year to state and local governments. We can't tell you exactly how much it is for your county because we haven't done a study, but we can say Richmond did one, and Richmond said for every person they undercount, it costs them about $2,000 a year or $20,000 over the 10 years because you're stuck with that number for 10 years. If you look at that, a 50 person, if you're a math major, 50 count under would be $1 million. In Spotsylvania County, about 132,000, 0.04%, 0.04% is $1 million. That's the importance of ensuring that you get a complete count here in Spotsylvania County because it's real big bucks. It's also used for grant applications, and it also is used to help plan needs in the future. Our goal at the census is to count everybody once, only once, and in the right place. I know you read, so I'll let you read through the rest of that if you're interested. We're maximizing new media, as the library folks said, that we're going to have for the first time the ability to do this online. And we're hoping that's going to increase the response rate. If you don't want to do it online, for the first time, you'll be able to call in. And someone will take your census information over the phone. We won't call out, but you can call in. And then if you don't want to do either of those, and you get the old mail version as well. So you take your pick of which way you want to do it. But we're trying to get people to do the online because it's quicker for us and it's less expensive. And we're also using automated systems for recruiting. Here's your eye test for the evening. 50 ways to, actually there are 2 eye tests. There will be a test at the end. 2 eye tests. There are 50 ways. If you count them, there are 48 ways. If you look at companies coming into your area, they use census data to determine where they're going to put things and if they're even going to come in your community. One of the things that is really important this time is we have a challenge to overcome that some people don't trust the government, federal government as well. And we want everybody to know that our data is very confidential. Our data can't be received by anybody. The Supreme Court can't order us to turn it over. The President can't get it. No other agency can get it. It's all ours. And each one of us, census employees, the first thing we do is we are hired, is we take an oath that we won't release that information for the rest of our lifetime, not just for during employment of the census. If you boo-boo, it's $250,000, 5-year fine, or 5 years, $250,000 fine. My wife said we don't have that in a checking account, so I'm not allowed to give it out. Here's kind of the way it goes. We start out first trying to find out where to count people. And your county staff has helped us by responding and telling us where people live. So households, where they are, is important because we count people in a household, not people in a family. If you think about new living arrangements, you can have 3 people, 4 people living in the same apartment going to college. We don't care if they're related, we just care that they're in that household and we want to count everybody in that household. The next thing we do is we try to motivate folks to respond. And that's one of the things we need your help with, is you're the trusted voices in Spotsylvania County. And if you say, hey, folks, please respond to this, they're more likely to do it than if George says, hey, will you please respond to this? Then we'll count the population. After we count the population, we're required to give a report to the President by December 31st, 2020. That's a little bit more detail of our timeline. If you look at where we're at right now, we're in recruiting. In Fredericksburg, there will be opening an area census office, so we're really lucky about that. We'll have some extra jobs there, and we'll also have lots of part-time jobs here in your community. And we need your help getting folks because we want people in those different census tracts to be asking their neighbors to help. We don't want someone from outside the area canvassing your area. You look at it, instead of April, it says March, you can start doing stuff. That's when the online version starts. Then we have the paper version starting in April. Second eye test. That's how Spotsylvania did last time, 2000 to 2010. If you stayed the same. The goal is not to stay the same this time, because if you stay the same and someone else does a better job at counting and has a better count, then money flows more towards that other place. That's your area. And the way you look at this map is the darker the area, the harder it is to count. You see Fredericksburg has the hardest area to count around here, but you have some shaded parts as well. That website there, you can go on that website. It's public access. You can type in any state, any county, any city, or if you know the track, any track, and it'll pull this up. You right-click on that track, and you get all the statistical data about that track. Supposedly, you could look at those and determine some of the things that may be causing a hard-to-count area. Like if you look at this down towards the bottom, renter-occupied housing units, 28%. Renter-occupied is one of the things that are harder to count because they're mobile. Where they were a while ago is where they aren't anymore. They're somewhere else. The more rural, the harder it is to count. And the oddest one, and we don't know why it is, children under the age of 5 is the hardest group to count. Don't get it, but it is. So it's really important to work with the preschools, with your pediatricians, anybody that has access to that younger group to let them know, hey, you need to go ahead and be counted. What we want from you is some help as far as onboarding, testing, room, that kind of stuff. The library is good at giving us space. United Way is giving us space. List of residential institutions, new developments. When we got the information from your county between then and when we actually do a count, I bet you're going to have another house or two around. So we need that information so that we can then go out and send them a form. What we want you to do is form a complete count committee. And a complete count committee is really a group of folks that you think in the community can help get the vote out or get the census in. Not to vote out, two different things. Same year, though. The purpose of that is to increase the response rate, and that's the big deal. This is a sample complete count committee. The complete count committee that you develop will be what you think is the right group of folks on that committee. It can be any variety of folks that you think will help get the different votes out. I'm saying votes twice tonight. The census out. This must have been done for Atlanta. As they say here, the subcommittees you should have, there are 16 of them, I think. That's really not the number you would have, but it is the groups of people that you want to think about. Do we have somebody, do we have an effort to go and reach that population? Veterans are difficult to count. Do we have somebody that's going to go out and try to get the veteran to fill out that form? Our next step for you, here's the ask. And the ask is, do a one-year out event as soon as possible. Let folks know, hey, Spotsylvania County wants you to complete your census and do some type of event. Try a city or a county proclamation. And your county administrator has asked for samples, and I'll be sending those to him. So you might see those next time around. Form or participate in the complete count committee. And then George Washington Regional Commission is going to be doing a complete count committee on a regional basis, and that's going to be different than you. Although they're going to be doing some stuff on the regional basis, you want to form your own because the impact is local. Then be those trusted voices in Spotsylvania County to get folks to complete the census. What questions do you have?
Mr. Skinner?
Thank you, sir. At the beginning, you talked about 0.04% equaling $1 million.
Yes, sir.
Could you expand on that? Where do you get the million, and how does that work?
So what I did is, if you look at the slide, it said Richmond did a study, and in Richmond, if they undercount one person, they think it's going to cost them $2,000 per year. So $2,000 per year You have 10 years, you're stuck with that number, so that's $20,000 that Richmond thinks that they will be short for that one person. And you get $20,000, divide $1 million by $20,000, that's 50 people.
But I guess my question is, where does that money come from? Where are we losing the money from? What, are we losing it from the
It could be,
government? Are we losing it from, I just want to understand it better
Okay.
so that people ask that question. It's a strong point what you made tonight.
Yes, sir.
But
It's anything from meals in schools, use census data, anything from that to grants for libraries, use that census data. So it can be roads, it can be any variety of federal programs that look at census data to say, hey, we're going to apportion funds based on how many people live in your community, and the people that live in your community is based on the census.
Thank you.
So it's just lots and lots of different programs, sir.
Are there any other comments or questions? You mentioned March of 2021 is when the data is delivered. Does that include down to the census tract level?
What I think I said is March of 2020 is when the census online will be available so that you can fill it out.
Okay.
It goes to the president December 31st, 2020. Then the first quarter of 2021, it's released to the Congress. Then the second quarter to the states, and then the people of the United States.
Okay. As you know, we, in our infinite wisdom, have an election every year in Virginia, including the year after the census, and it's always a scramble to get it redistricting and done in time for the November election after the census.
Yes, sir, it is.
The sooner the better.
Yes, we're hoping that the online ability to do it will help speed the process up and reduce the amount of people that have to go out. One of the things that we found is when we send the enumerators to go knocking on the doors, it takes an average of 5 times knocking on the door before someone will answer the door that may fill out the census. The thing is, if you and people in your community let them know, hey, please fill out the census, it's confidential, it's not going anywhere. If they go to the library and fill it out, as soon as they log on to our page, everything's encrypted. So, there's nothing left behind on that computer. So it's as secure as can be these days.
Any other questions or comments? Seeing none, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Chair, I apologize. I skipped over the board reports prior to the presentations that we just heard. So if we can go back and do board reports, please.
All right. Mr. Benton, do you have a board report?
I knew I'd get called first. Got one thing from Delegate McGuire. 1 second here. All right, they're having apparently there's a Vietnam veteran down in Hanover that had been trying to put up a flag, the Stars and Stripes, in his subdivision, but the HOA apparently had some difficulties. Well, this has been going on for years, and I guess Mr. Delegate McGuire stepped forward and apparently has worked out everything, and he's going to be able to put up his flag that flew over his bunker in Vietnam. And I guess they're going to have a Support Our Flag and Veterans on April 27th at noon for a flag raising event at 11900 Allure Court in Glen Allen, Virginia, 23059. They're going to raise the flag again that this Marine had flown over his bunker in Vietnam. And he's just asking that as many folks as possible come out. They're going to have some free food from Mission Barbecue, the Henrico Police Department, the Military Order of Purple Heart, Marine Corps Color Guard, all kinds of veterans are going to be participating in this. So He would like as many folks as possible that could take the time to come out and be a part of this event. That's it.
Mr. Marshall?
Nothing to report.
Mr. Skinner?
Nothing to report, sir.
Mr. Jakubowski?
Nothing to report.
And I have no report.
Mr. Chair, the next item on the agenda is closed meeting, but I don't believe there's any items for closed meeting this evening, so that brings us to new business. The next Board of Supervisors meeting is May 14th, 2019 at 4:30 p.m. And I have a brief status update on CIP projects that are ongoing. If it pleases the board, I can go ahead and read through those.
Sure.
The company's 6 renovation and expansion, staff's made a recommendation of award to the procurement office for design contract. The documentation is being prepared for consideration by the board. We'll be bringing that back in the near future. The judicial center expansion, staff is working with the contractor to review preliminary project schedules. A pre-construction meeting has been scheduled for May 7th for this project. The former sheriff's office demolition and historic courthouse stabilization project, that's nearing completion with an estimated contractor demobilization within the next 60 days, so this will be the last update on that project. Spotsylvania County Animal Shelter, the contractor has started stormwater piping installation and electrical conduit work associated with the parking lot relocation portion. Merchant Square, staff is awaiting an interior space design proposal from the architect. The Holbert Building, we're doing some maintenance work in the Holbert Building. It's HVAC replacement work. We'll be ramping up over the next few weeks. The contractor plans to complete the majority of the work during off hours, to include nights and weekends, to limit the impact to county services. There's various flooring, fixtures, finishes, and other improvements that'll be part of this normal asset management program. Parks and Recs facility drinking water wells. This is new. The staff is working on various improvements to drinking water wells that serve Marshall Park, Tuning Park, Eric Park, the Berkeley Community Center, and Todd's Tavern Community Center. There may be some intermittent service interruptions as the work progresses over the next few months. And then finally, Hunting Run Phase 2, staff continues to work with the contractor and community development on project scope revisions to reduce the overall cost of the project.
If there's no other business, we can have a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
I guess we can vote.
Aye.
Aye.
Hey, Chief.
I had a huge slideshow. 30 slides. Next time, I guess.